I'm Jake Bruton, and today we are at our Hilltop Aero House, and we're going to talk about these Boral window trims, how we manufactured them, and how we're installing them, and why that's important. Let's do it now. Okay, so all of the siding on the exterior of our Hilltop Aero House is one product from one manufacturer. It is from Boral. It is a fly ash product. If you've never worked with it before, it works a lot like wood. It doesn't whelp when you run a screw into it. It doesn't deflect real bad when you put a nail into it. It does have a wood grain side, or I would call it semi-smooth. I think they call it a smooth side. So you have to be a little careful with how you fasten it to the wall because you could affect pattern. It's not a blind nailing system. It's a face nailing system like wood siding would be. It's not like a fiber cement where all the nails and fasteners are hidden. But I want to talk to you about our window trims because we at Aero Building are doing the window trims even though we're not the ones installing the siding. And that's because we wanted to prefabricate these in a way that we didn't think that we'd be able to convince our siding crew to do very easily. So we're crammed into the corner here in our master bedroom with the first one that we've installed and the next one that we're going to install. Let's talk process here. We have an Excel sheet that we create at the very beginning of the job before framing starts based off of our window sizes that we can get window jamb and sill rough openings, we can get casing measurements, or we can get exterior siding casing measurements just by knowing the size of the window and letting the Excel sheet do our math. So we're able to print an 11 by 17 sheet that shows this is the cut for the sill, this is the cut for the sides, this is the cut for the head. You can scratch those measurements, those cuts off the list on a printed sheet of paper that is foolproof. We've used this same document ever since we started working with European windows. And so then we're able to take that and transfer that knowledge here. This is window 1-12, which means first floor window number 12. And you can see we have master north wall left from the outside. It says 1-12 there in pencil. It says 1-12 down there, and it says 1-12. So all of this is cut and marked, and then all we have to do is put it together. Initially, the first time we ever did this, we did this sort of assembly with a biscuit, and then we tried it once with a domino, and we've come to the conclusion that the pocket screws and glue is plenty. The units will hold themselves, or will stay together once they're fastened to the wall. This pocket screws and glue are really just to get them over here and ready to install. So let's look at the material that we're using. We are using a 3/4 thick stock for the jamb sides and the sill, and our head is a 4/4. So we have 2.5 by 3/4, and we have 2.5 by 1 inch. This is just an architectural call out from the architect. Just a little bit of interest, just a little bit of a shadow line, that's all. The reason we have nails sticking out here in the board that hasn't gone on the wall yet is we're going to install this one by hand just because we're not going to bother getting out a compressor for these two in the sample for the siding guys today. But it does bring up a good point, the idea of a hammer and finishing things by hand. You've seen us do this before with cedar siding where we were really worried about how our nail heads finished and whether or not we were leaving large divots in our cedar. This stuff on the smooth side, it's very difficult to fill it and then paint it and have that fill spot not show a little. So we've decided over the last few times that we've used this product to go to finishing the nails by hand, which means we turn the air compressor down and we drive the nails so that they're almost all the way in. And then use an actual hammer. I know that's a weird thing to consider nowadays. An actual hammer to drive them flush. It also means you have to be careful to not get that little indent from the hammer, but we work with competent crew members and we don't have that issue. And then once all this gets painted, our nails disappear better than if we had a nail head that got filled and patched there. So we're gonna go ahead and install this second trim, and let's talk about why it is the way that it is. Let's do that now. So we've taken the prefabbed unit, all four sides glued and screwed together, and we're able, because these windows have a miter in the corner, these are aluminum aluprof windows from European Architectural Supply. This mitered corner, we can basically just line that miter up with the inside corner on our jamb all the way around, on our casing all the way around, and that centers and levels the unit with a window next to it. So now we're able to install all the windows in the house without bothering to get a level out, because we know that the units here are level, plumb, and square, and we've already taken the time to set all the windows with a laser. They're all the same height. So we maintain that line without a tape, without a level, without measuring and marking, because the math on these is calculated by the computer based off of the measurements that we got with our shop drawings. And so now we have a window trim that is Boral, that is never going to be affected by water, that is going to be painted to match the windows, or painted the accent color. You'll have to tune in later to see which one the clients decide, or the architect forces upon them, one or the other. And we have a system where this is resting on our batten strips for our siding. We'll add another one of our batten UV next to it. The siding will come over and die next to it. We'll have an almost flush install there. Very simple, very clean, very durable, and pretty fail-safe. I'm excited to see these guys get painted out with the siding up against them and see what we get. So stay tuned for more on the Hilltop Aero House and more on this Boral siding. Till next time, I'm Jake Bruton on The Build Show. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching.